first one we interviewed, you have to sign. It's just information.
I think I would have.
I told you that.
Yeah, I got a pen if you need it.
Jon or Jonathan Kinney. We're currently in Arlington, Virginia, near the courthouse area. And I'm a stockholder, member of Bean Kinney Korman, a law firm here in the county. Fortunately or unfortunately, it was a situation where my father was a lawyer, and I kind of naturally fell into it as the eldest child in the family. I grew up understanding some of his love for the law and some of the things that he did, and it was interesting and exciting to me, so it wasn't a hard decision to follow. Some of us still look at law as a profession more than a business. That was somewhat ingrained in me as a child, that you were really here to serve people, people that have, real needs. Sometimes they're people with unique problems, sometimes they're very personal problems, but to everybody the problem is important to them, or they wouldn't be coming to a lawyer. Bean Kinney is a regional firm. We have around 40 attorneys, and our major practice area are areas like litigation. We do a lot of work for financial institutions, but we're somewhat unique for a regional firm that has a number of fairly sophisticated practice areas. We also do individual work. We have a trust in estates, a domestic relations, things that effectively affect everybody on a day-to-day basis. So in that sense, we like to think of ourselves not only in our specialty areas, but also pretty much as a full-service firm. I mean, there are areas we don't do. We don't do personal bankruptcy. We don't do criminal work, but mostly in other areas we have somebody in the firm who has experience in it. It may seem as a corny answer, but I actually enjoy coming to work. I work with a very good group of people. I enjoy the problems that are presented every day, and I do look at my main part of my job is trying to solve the issues. I'm not a litigator, so if a case I'm working on winds up in court, to some extent I feel I've been ineffective in my own efforts, but that's just the way it works out occasionally, but most of the time that isn't the way it has to work out. In about 1975, I had graduated from law school. In 1971, I had a fellowship, a Reginald Heber Smith Fellowship for the first 2 years. Worked national welfare rights, did work with the Lieutenant Governor's office down in Richmond, and had then switched to a smaller firm in this area. And in 1975, that firm merged with a firm that my father had started, which is now known as Bean Kinney Korman. So, at my age, it's not a question of, what it is that interests me. I've always lived in Arlington, except for college and law school. It's always been an attractive place. I think what is really exciting is that it's a place that I have one of my children living here and another one that could live here. She's currently in Nashville, but which is tough competition, really a great city. But I think the thing that Arlington has done is really transformed itself to a place that's very attractive to the millennials and different age groups. The nice thing about Arlington, if you don't like a living arrangement, if you don't like the urban environment that we have it here in Courthouse and Clarendon, you can go 3 blocks and be in the middle of suburbia. So it's pretty much, you can cover pretty much, regardless of what you want, you can find that type of living in Arlington. So it's kind of the different opportunities that you have. I think people have said one of the things you have to work at Bean Kinney is a sense of humor. And we've always prided ourselves on that. We don't try to take ourselves too seriously. First of all, other people don't, so why should we? We do work hard at the firm, but people do try to balance that with the lifestyle that they choose to have, and I think the firm allows that to occur for the most part. There are times being a lawyer can be very stressful, but there are times that the rewards most of the time strongly outweigh the stress and the downside of the practice. I mean, I think one of the things that when I tell people I'm an Arlington native, they talk about the change that they've seen. I think most people, at least even a lot of people who've been in Arlington the last 20 or 30 years, don't believe me when I say as a kid, during the summer in middle school or late middle school, a group of 3 or 4 guys would hop a freight train from Quincy Street out to East Falls Church. Now, that was not what it sounds like. It was a switch engine, and when going uphill it went all of 2 miles an hour, and going downhill it went all of 4 miles an hour. But today that's 66, and nobody even knows there was a train track here. So I tell people that, and the normal reaction is, "You're kidding me, you know, you made that one up." And that's actually not the case. Not that we should have jumped on the flat car or something like that, but whenever there was a situation of a few boxcars, the guy never seemed to throw us off at that point. And it was a lot of fun for kids in the summer. It was almost like a rural community in that sense. I mean, it was changing very much. It had become suburban, but it still had some of the aspects. And today, you've got an interstate highway where that, train was, and nobody has any recollection of that. And right now, if you look behind, the scene here and other things, you're looking at Clarendon, which is one of the most successful places in the whole metropolitan region in terms of retail and being attractive to millennials, and totally has changed in the last 40, 50 years. But some of the greater changes are the ones I'm talking about, where we actually had a small train that went through the county, or you would spend your summers on this. This was before organized play, where everybody had to go to a summer camp or something. And those days, people still walked down the stream beds and played pickup baseball and stuff like that. So it was a different situation, but I'm not going to say it was better then. It was just different then. Just kind of a little bit slower time, but the advantages of what we have here now are just many, many more opportunities for individuals than we had back at that time.